how does your job help the GPS mission?
My current position supports the GPS mission in two ways. First, I analyze and report Boeing's cost and schedule performance metrics to the United States Air Force. Essentially, I let the Air Force leadership know if the satellite that we purchased is coming in on time and on budget. Secondly, I provide the program office with cost estimates that the Air Force leadership can use to ensure the program, ensure we can continue to fund the program.
Lieutenant Peters, that is great information. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks, glad to be here.
A little over 5 minutes remain in this first burn of the second stage. There'll be 2 burns in today's flight. This burn has about 5 minutes to go, and we're now 10 minutes, 30 seconds in. Now 10 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight. Altitude now at 147.1 nautical miles. Velocity 23,797 feet per second. Downrange distance 1,445.4 nautical miles. Mark, 11 minutes in. Still continuing to look good. Chamber pressure is holding right where we'd want it to be. Good engine control in the second stage at 4 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the burn. In reviewing the mission events over the first few minutes of flight, major flight events occurred very close to their expected time. Coming up on 11 minutes, 40 seconds. Mark, 11 minutes, 40 seconds in. Altitude now at 142.08 nautical miles. Velocity 25,126 feet per second. Downrange distance 1,648.3 nautical miles. Chamber pressure holding rock solid in the second stage with good engine control. Passing 12 minutes into the flight. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first burn.
This is Delta Mission Control at L plus 12 minutes, 9 seconds. We're approaching the end of the first of 2 planned RL-10 second stage engine burns. The Delta IV and GPS satellite are flying over the North Atlantic Ocean, south of Greenland, and about midway between North America and Europe. Our next event, the first second stage engine cutoff, or SECO-1, is scheduled to take place just about 5 minutes from now. While we wait for the next mission event, let's take a look at video highlighting the important capabilities of the GPS Block 2F satellite.
The Global Positioning System is a marvel of the modern age. It consists of more than 30 GPS satellites circling the globe over 12,000 miles above us. In tightly controlled orbits, these U.S. Air Force satellites continuously transmit their signals to Earth. An extraordinary technology, GPS enables anyone with a GPS receiver to determine their precise location and the exact time anywhere in the world, usually within a meter and within a billionth of a second.
GPS is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's in our cars. It's in devices that you use to determine how far you've run or ridden your bicycle.
With billions of users and countless devices, it is easy to take GPS for granted. But it is the essential platform for innovations which enables us to do everyday things like buying gas at the pump and getting directions. And amazing things like tracking ice melts and saving lives in ways that were formerly impossible.
The beauty of the GPS system is that it's available for everyone. The cost of entry for any user is simply the cost of their receiver.
Boeing helped make GPS possible. It's been the U.S. Air Force's prime contractor on 4 major programs, replacing the initial group of satellites as their service lives were completed. Overall, Boeing has produced 2/3 of all GPS satellites, more than 40 in all.
Satellites are normally built in a low volume, perhaps 2 or 3 at most. And they're usually sit in one spot, and resources are brought to the satellite.
Now, to ensure that GPS is available whenever it's needed, Boeing has changed how satellites are made. It's producing 12 new GPS satellites using a streamlined process based on its efficient and advanced airplane assembly line techniques.
Our goal is to have the highest quality.
These new satellites bring next-generation performance to the GPS constellation we all use every day. As a result, they are delivering new levels of accuracy to what is already a remarkably accurate system, and they are being built in a much more efficient way, ensuring that this essential technology is available when we need it.
This is Delta Mission Control at T plus 15 minutes. The Delta IV, carrying the IIF-9 satellite, lifted off from Space Launch Complex 37 at 2:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We're now approximately 1 minute away from the completion of the first of 2 planned RL-10 second stage engine burns. Let's join Steve Agate for mission progress.
Standing by. And the second stage engine has shut down. 15 minutes now, 42 seconds into the flight. Altitude 113.8 miles. Velocity 32,368 feet per second. The downrange distance 2,724 nautical miles.
This is Delta Mission Control at T plus 16 minutes, 11 seconds. Steve Agate just confirmed cutoff of the RL-10 engine. The mission has now entered an extended coast phase, which will last approximately 3 hours. Following SECO 1, the mission trajectory changes to a southeasterly heading, flying over Eastern Europe, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. It will continue in a south-southeasterly direction over the Indian Ocean. Following a short second burn of the RL-10 engine, the Delta IV cryogenic second stage will deliver the GPS IIF-9 satellite to semi-synchronous orbit over the southern Indian Ocean, southwest of Australia. Separation will take place about 3 hours, 14 minutes after liftoff. Before we sign off, let's go back to Matt Donovan so he can answer a few more questions. Hello again, Matt.
Hi, Courtney. Thanks. That was a really exciting liftoff. The team here in Denver, we had a lot of folks collect to get a chance to watch that. We're obviously now in the coast phase. This is a great chance to answer some more of the questions that have come in from different folks on hashtag AskULA. The first question I've gotten is from @MMccombs1, and they're asking, what is the RS-68 propellant consumption rate for this flight profile? So when we're at full thrust, our RS-68 consumes about 1,600 pounds per second of liquid oxygen and about 260 pounds per second of liquid hydrogen. That's obviously a lot of propellant to be able to give us the thrust that we need out of the RS-68 and gotten GPS to where we're at right now. The second question that we got in was from @Joe Chapstick, and they asked, how fast will the Delta IV leave the Earth's gravity? So actually for this mission, the Delta IV never actually leaves the Earth's gravity because we are putting the GPS satellite in the Earth's orbit. But the top speed that we will see on this mission is about 32,000 feet per second, or about 22,000 miles per hour. So that's pretty fast that we'll be going orbital to be able to get GPS to where they need to go. The next question we had come in was from @Mark H. Enig, and they asked, how many pounds of thrust does the Delta IV medium rocket produce? So obviously we had solids for this mission, but just a standard Delta IV medium rocket with the RS-68 produces over 660,000 pounds of thrust at sea level for liftoff to help get us off the ground. Let's keep going through the questions that we've had come in here. The next one's from @FarMaitre, and they ask, what height and weight is the Delta IV rocket? The Delta IV is approximately 206 feet tall, or a little over 20 stories when you think about it, and that's the tip of the payload the satellite on top of the vehicle. So you saw the MST earlier. That whole building encapsulates the vehicle, so you can imagine that whole tower having to move to be able to get us clear for launch. And again, the rocket's almost 21 stories tall, sitting on the launch pad.